Hello, we're glad to have you once again. In this video, we will go over Frostblade's Berserker. Frostblades is a melee strike attack that deals cold damage via projectiles it releases upon using it. All your physical damage will be converted to cold after allocating cold mastery, allowing you to freeze and shatter enemies with ease. It's a projectile skill, but it also benefits from being melee. As a Berserker, you're able to achieve absurd levels of attack damage. Any attack skill is suitable for him. We're choosing Frostblade's skill for its long range, ability to freeze, and easy elemental conversion. The damage will be amplified by rage, ancestral totems, and berserk skill. The goal here is to get more and more damage, not paying nearly as much attention to survivability. It's a glass cannon build. Pick the Blitz, Aspect of Carnage, and crave the Slaughter keystones. It massively increases your critical damage, attack rate, generates rage, and general DPS. There are no core items or some specific niche synergy between inconspicuous game mechanics. The foundation of the build is simple as it's just accumulating damage. Paradoxica or the Savior are some good choices for a weapon. You can also get yourself a rare foil with high base damage. Frostblades deal physical damage, 60% of it is converted to cold, and the rest 40% can be obtained via cold mastery. After hitting your first target with this melee strike, multiple projectiles will be released. It's a skill similar to Lightning Strike. Your high maximum life, fortify, and armor are the defensive layers. You should be able to have 4 to 6k of maximum life, and instant enduring cry to recover it quickly. The best survival strategy here is to kill enemies before they can even react to your presence. Clear speed is great, it's very fast, has a long strike range, and a lot of projectiles. Single target damage is one of the highest of any attack builds in the game, but requires a solid investment. The build is cheap to assemble but extremely expensive later on, as almost each of your items is rare. To run this build you won't need any unique items, except the 2 jewels, which are one of the cheapest ones anyway. Paradoxica or the Savior are both good swords with their unique values, but these can be outclassed by an expensive rare foil. You will most likely cap your elemental resistances quite easily, but the overall price of all items in the final version can be very high. Paradoxica. The best mods you can hope for are: attacks with this weapon penetrate elemental resistances, increased cold damage with the chance to freeze, attack speed, and increased physical damage. The Savior was one of the best unique swords in the game. It creates up to 2 mirages that use frostblades with halved damage in a similar fashion to Mirage Archer, increasing your DPS drastically. It's alright for a budget version. Fight for Survival jewels enhance your frostblades. You can socket up to 2 of them, one near Elemental Equilibrium Keystone and the other one next to Fervor Notable. Your auras are Hatred and Precision. Try to get a Watcher's Eye with the affixes for increased critical strike chance while affected by these auras, or an extra cold penetration from Hatred. The most important part of the build that it increase your DPS is critical strike chance, added and increased cold, elemental, or physical damage, attack speed, and critical strike multiplier. You gain blitz charges on critical strike, which increases your attack speed, but reduces crit chance, so to balance it out you will need more crit chance than would be usually enough. Be sure to have enough accuracy rating, a source of mana, and life leech. Blizzard Crown might be a good option for a base as it adds a significant amount of cold damage to your attacks. Try to get one that lowers cold resistance for your opponents. A good one-handed thrusting sword is extremely expensive, but with some specific affixes, it can outperform any other unique weapon in the game. Get one with high base damage and attack speed. On your body armor, besides maximum life and elemental resistances, aim for added critical strike chance for attacks. You will need a pair of boots with elemental resistances, movement speed, maximum life, and some additional offensive mods. Maximum life and resistances are a must-have on your gloves, but you can also seek attack speed, added damage, and accuracy rating. With your red Eldritch currency, you can craft in the extra strike targeting for your strike attacks, very powerful. Stygian Vice with life, elemental resistances, and increased elemental damage with attacks is the best pick for the build. On the amulet, look for maximum life, resistances, and at least 2 of the offensive mods from the list. Physical damage as extra cold damage might be the best affix to seek. A ring with default defenses and a frostbite curse on hit should be sufficient. You can additionally look for many other mods to further increase your DPS. Assassin's Mark is better than frostbite for a curse, but it cannot be found as a ring affix. Jewels can fix your elemental resistances and attributes if needed, but try to prioritize maximum life. Try getting one with corrupted blood immunity. A regular large cluster jewel with a base of attack damage or cold damage should have some great notable passives for the build. It's worth investing in a good one. The unique flasks worth recommending are Bottled Faith and the Taste of Hate. Bottled Faith grants more damage, more critical strike chance, and the bonuses of Consecrated Ground. Taste of Hate is a great flask. You take less damage, you gain extra cold damage from your physical damage, and cold ailments avoidance. For the magic flasks, pick a life one with an instant life recovery on use, Diamond Flask for an increased critical strike chance, and Quicksilver Flask for an increased movement speed. Your main setup consists of frost blades linked with added cold damage, cold penetration, elemental damage with attacks, multi-strike, and inspiration support gems. Pretty standard setup with little to no room for any improvements. For the mana reserving skills, we recommend using Precision for extra accuracy rating and increased critical strike chance, Hatred for more cold damage and extra physical as cold damage, Herald of Ice for added cold damage and shatter effect, and the Defiance banner. It grants increased evasion, armor, and reduces the critical strike chance for nearby opponents. For the totem setup, use Ancestral Warchief for more melee damage and Ancestral Protector for more attack speed. Link them with multiple totem support to be able to have 2 of them at once. Deploy them during boss fights for a huge DPS boost. The same goes for Berserk skill. It consumes the accumulated rage to grant a temporary bonus to attack speed, attack damage, movement speed, and less damage taken. Blood Rage increases attack speed, life leech, and generates frenzy charges on kill while draining your life. Link both of these skills with enhanced support for more attack speed and damage. As your movement skill, use Leap Slam linked with a faster attack support. It's a basic mobility attack that you can use to jump over obstacles and move faster. If you can also include Life Tap support for no mana cost. As your guard spell, we recommend Immortal Call at level 3 linked to a cast when damage taken support at level 1. This setup will protect you from hit damage for a short time after you take damage. Enduring Cry is a war cry used mainly to regenerate your missing life. It generates endurance charges that you can later spend on Immortal Call to enhance its effect. Hydrosphere applies exposure debuff on enemies, reducing their cold resistance, and you can hit it to generate rage or create projectiles. It doesn't have to be linked to anything. Assassin's Mark is the best curse. It should be applied automatically via mark on hit support. It boosts your critical strike chance and damage against marked enemies by a lot. Kill all the bandits for the extra 2 skill points. None of them can offer you a better deal. For a major god, you can pick the Soul of Lunaris for an extra movement speed and reduced damage taken per nearby enemy. But for a fight with pinnacle bosses or guardians, switch to the Soul of Solaris. Your weakness is elemental damage and damage over time. Luckily, there are plenty of minor gods that can help you mitigate this frailty. We recommend the Soul of Ralakesh to reduce bleeding damage. On the passive skill tree, pick the maximum life, sword damage, critical strike, cold, and projectile-related notables. The cluster with Bloodless, Constitution, Thick Skin, and Herbalism are good for additional life. Sword clusters with Blade of Cunning and Fatal Blade are some of the best crit-related notables you can find. For even more critical damage, allocate the Dismembering notable at the bottom, Twin Terrors and Lethality near point blank, and Acuity, which is next to Herbalism. The build does not require any keystones, but we've picked a Call to Arms to briskly cast Enduring Cry and the Unwavering Stance for stun immunity. For masteries, Pick the 2 life ones for more maximum life, Fortify Mastery to gain Fortify on hit, Sword Mastery to gain Frenzy charges on hit, and an increased critical strike chance at the cost of critical strike multiplier. For critical strike masteries, go for the one that increases the critical strike multiplier against unique enemies and the effect of non-damaging ailments with critical hits. Accuracy Mastery offers the precision reservation efficiency or an extra accuracy if you need it. From the Cold cluster, allocate the Cold Mastery for damage conversion. That is all we have to say about Frostblade's Berserker. Subscribe to the channel for more build guides and updates. Stay safe.